And just like that, we are live. I'm by myself today, and there's good reason for that. I wanted to try and run through a little bit of the updates I've been working on over the weekend. This includes updating, actually getting the YouTube page ready. I've worked on trying to wrap my head around Instagram, and probably the thing I've been most daunting about is trying to get my Patreon page set up. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm still, as you probably have noticed, or maybe you haven't, but I'm still getting my finding my feet around doing this whole format here. But I've been extremely grateful for having so many good, cool chats to a lot of people over the last 3 weeks. Looking forward to having a lot more in the days coming up. I've got my good friend Steve Hanley coming on tomorrow, talking about risks and life in general, about taking chances, and he had some really good points the last time he was on, and a lot of them has really resonated with me. So we'll be digging into that a little bit further. And on Thursday, I've got Mitch from a Brit ska band, which they're playing some extremely cool music. I stumbled across them a couple of weeks ago and reached out to him. And he's sitting at home doing nothing, just doing a lot of covers and music and trying to promote his band there. So I thought it would be an excellent opportunity for us to try and have a chat about how to deal with music given this whole coronavirus pandemic stuff. He's in the UK and they are obviously pretty badly hit at the moment. So we'll be having a chat about that. But for now, I would love to try and take you through some of the stuff that I have been doing. So let me try and show you now. So the main things, like I said, I've been working on. I've got the Instagram I've been running. So that pretty much, when I say I've been running, I've set the page up. I am going to start posting the first stuff as of tomorrow. So that's my commitment to you and to myself, is I'm going to start using Instagram. So that is a platform that I have sort of failed miserably at for the last couple of years, pretty much since it started. Because again, same as anything else, I have never really put any thought or any time into it. I have now. So like I said, I've really tried to come up with some ideas about how I wanted to run it. Same thing about YouTube. So YouTube, I've set up the banner art. I've got everything sort of trying to work consistently across the different platforms. So on YouTube, I'm going to start reposting all the streams that are currently on Facebook. So what I'll be doing is I'll be cutting them up. I'll be editing them as well. So they'll be color graded. The sound, I'm going to try and polish the sound up so the sound sounds a bit better. I'll cut the music videos out so people can actually stream those videos from the band's original pages to try and get some connection there. So people can go and subscribe to the individual bands' pages as well. And I am going to start creating some micro content, which again means some of all the chats that I've had over the last couple of weeks. There's been obviously, like, some of that has been 1.5 to 2 hours. So out of all of that, there has been segments in between. There has been some really interesting conversations. So I'll be cutting them out to small clips. Some conversations would have taken 4, 5, 6, maybe 10 minutes. So I'll be sort of dissecting them so you can log in and just watch a couple of those segments. Should you want to watch the whole interview, it'll be available there as well. Everything will obviously still remain on the Facebook page as well. So the Facebook page will sort of be like the mothership where I'll be doing this live streaming a couple of times a week. And then like a couple of days later, I'll be putting everything up on YouTube for that specific interview. So another thing that has sort of been floating around for a while is some actual music stuff, some drums. So I've been talking about playing drums for pretty much since we started. So what I will be doing is I'll be organizing some video drum playthroughs to begin with all the songs that I have done throughout my 2.5 decades of playing. So I'll be simply just starting out by recording all of those, including some of the new stuff that will be coming in the next couple of months. But that will all go on YouTube as that is recorded and ready to put out. In regards to Instagram, so Instagram will be sort of like the main sharing platform for for getting bands like to interact with bands. I'm also literally going to build a wall. So the whole wall in there will be a part of the whole. You've probably seen the whole Helhammer Hangout logo has the brick background. So that'll be the main feature of the wall. So that'll be going in and out. It'll have some features with sort of cross-sharing a lot of the bands that have been on the chat, on the stream, and people that will be coming in further down the track. I'll also be using that to post new songs when some of the original songs are available. They'll be going on there as well, and that'll sort of be like the more artistic, the more artistic platform in regards to sort of like the layout and look of it. Whereas Facebook will be mainly for the live streams, and it'll also sort of, like I say, it'll be the main hub to interconnect into the other platforms, being YouTube, primarily YouTube, Instagram, and Patreon. So there's obviously, given Instagram and Facebook are interlinked, a lot of those posts will also be, so a lot of the stuff I post on Instagram will also go to Facebook. But the thing is, we've got to start first, and we'll be starting tomorrow. So that is Facebook, that's Instagram, and that's YouTube. Now, as I said before, so Patreon has been the one I've been sort of not necessarily the most worried or concerned about, but the one that will sort of be the driving force moving forward. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Patreon is a page where you can go in and you can support your local artists, journalists, freelancers, everybody who's creating content online. So Patreon has, actually, I can bring it up here. I prepared it earlier. So what you can do here, you can go in, you can scroll down, you can select a couple of membership tiers, and you are able to simply sign up for a small waiver. So you can donate a little bit every month. So it's pretty much like a subscription, where you go in and you have your you do like a subscriber base where you can pay $3, $5, $10, and different tiers, and that helps out. Simply allowing me to try and keep this going, because I mean, as much as I love doing this, I spend so much time on it, which again, I understand that is required, especially in the beginning, because again, you do need to build up a specific base to begin with. But again, it would be such a good sort of pat on the shoulder. Same again is, if you go down and you support your local band with buying a CD and a T-shirt and something like that. A Patreon page is kind of the same thing. So you directly support the artists or whoever else is on Patreon that you would like to help out. So that is something I will be trying to push that gradually moving forward, because that is at the moment the only sort of way of making a little bit of a revenue on the side. So Patreon sort of being the only individual page that hasn't necessarily got anything to do with all like the daily or weekly posting. It will be sort of like the main driver moving forward. That's me sort of talking about the admin stuff. I am also just quickly going to touch base on before I go into the FAQs. I've got quite a few funny questions over the last weeks, either in the guest chats or comments, or on some of the stuff that I've posted, or on direct messaging. So I'll be running through some of them shortly. But before I do that, just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who has been watching so far. And again, if anyone wants to sort of help sharing or bring out the stream, know anyone who wants to come on and have a chat, I'm all ears. I'm doing this because I want to try and do it for the long run. So the more people that can log in, tune, help out, I really, really appreciate it. So let me jump over and try and run you through some of the funny questions we've got. So probably one of the main ones I get is, where's my accent from? So my accent is Danish. So I'm from Denmark originally, and moved to Perth I came here about 10 years ago, but I've been here for about 7 or 8, I think 8 years this year. So my accent has faded quite a bit from the original Danish when I came down here, when I sounded like a Bogan version of Lars Ulrich. So now it is this sort of funny mix between, yes, still a bit of European and a lot of sort of Aussie words brought into it. But yeah, I am Danish originally, so that's where the accent is from. Then another one is quite a few people have asked me sort of where I want to take this, like what is the vision of this Helhammer Hangout. So basically, it is to learn from the guests I've got on. It is to share their music and audience, and it is to unite people loving music and loving creativity from all over the world, and basically trying to build a community for upcoming musicians to learn more. So again, I learn every time I talk to someone. Someone has a little hint of a little tip of something. For instance, like I spoke to Miki on Friday. He's been a DIY musician for the last 10, 15 years, and had a lot of cool stories, a lot of cool tricks in regards to how to promote your band, getting sponsors, getting touring people to come in and help you book tours, in Russia and Ukraine and some other crazy places where they play. So every time you speak to people, there's always something new that you learn, and all that I would love to be able to pass that on. So hopefully other people would learn from it as well. And another thing is, like, I learn all the time. Like this format for me is still so daunting because I'm used to sort of hide behind a drum kit and not really do anything up front. And now I'm in the freaking driver's seat. So I'm right up here, right up close and personal. But again, I'm loving it. I'm getting more and more used to it every time. But when I go in and sit down and have to click that start streaming button, I still get that sort of rush. Same kind of rush as when you go on stage for the first time. Anyway, so that was it. So the vision is pretty much to create a community for musicians and like-minded creative people around the world, where hopefully you can learn some stuff or just want to come and hang out and listen to some banter, really. Another one is how can you make money from this? Well, first of all, like I said, the main thing when I started this was to sort of just get out of the whole not having to deal too much with all the coronavirus stats and stuff. And pretty much since I started, I've stopped looking at the stats. I stopped following the news because this was something new and creative that could take over. So for me to begin with, and still, it is something that sort of sparkles my creativity. It triggers my brain to start thinking about music and stuff, and not thinking about coronavirus. So that was the main thing. Now, in regards to making money, so needless to say, if this is something that has to be sustainable, I need to be able to make some sort of income. Patreon, as I mentioned before, is the best way of quickly getting just a little bit of residual income. So something that you can keep popping in every month. Like I said, if anyone wants to sign up and become a Patreon and you pay me $3 per month or $5 per month, that's not much. That's the same as you buying a cup of coffee every month. But if I have 100 people or 200 people doing that, all of a sudden that starts to help. And I fully understand that's not going to happen tomorrow, next week, or next month, but it is a starting point. In regards to other ad revenues, other revenues is ad revenue. So if you start building up a certain amount of viewers, especially on YouTube, on Facebook as well, you've probably seen all those annoying ads that come up. Those ads actually generate a tiny percentage of revenue. So you might get like a cent every time an ad is played. But that again is a cent you didn't have before. And again, if you multiply that by the amount of views that you potentially could get in, half a year, 5, 10 years down the track, all of that adds up. Another thing as well is sponsors. So by the time you get it to a certain size, you have a certain amount of viewers or audience, there is a chance of getting sponsors, which again means at no cost to the viewer, but it's something that you can get people that want to throw in a little bit of money towards getting an ad on the show, introducing something. That's again another way of creating money. Again, it's very, very early days, but that is again just to answer that question, how you can make money from this. So again, it's a slow starter, but you got to start somewhere, and we got to keep going. Another very, very obvious question. I actually did mention that at some stage in one of the early episodes, but no, Stephen Helhammer is not my real name. My real name is Stefan, and that is just so hard for people to say in Australia, on most English speaking countries. So it is pretty much the Danish equivalent to Stephen. So I thought that would be the obvious one to grab. You say Stephen. Everybody knows the name Stephen. There's so many famous Stevens. Steven Spielberg, Steven Tyler. Just two that just came to mind. But Helhammer, the last name, is an abbreviation of me and my wife's last name. So my last name is Helbo, and my wife's last name is Hannum. So if you grab Hel from Helbo and Ham, then you got the Helham. But Helham is itself sounds like, I think I made a joke about that before. Helham sounds like a toxic pork or something like that. So you got a Helhammer, which is something that we both thought sounded fun, sounded cool. So we just made that an abbreviation. So we call ourselves for the Hellhammers. There you go. So I'm Stephen Helhammer. And that was just, again, a bit more of a rock name than Stephen Helbo is, and nobody can say that anyway. So that's the story behind the name. Another thing, my mom actually asked me that at some stage. She says, like, who is your target audience? And I said, well, my target audience, to be honest, is probably mostly musicians. But again, it's really anyone looking to try and sort of gain an understanding of starting something from scratch, because you will get to see me doing this from scratch, because I threw myself out on the deep end, and as this grows, I will grow, and everybody else who is sort of have an idea of where to take something. I suppose, the key is consistency, which is the hardest part for anyone, is just to keep going. But my target audience is everybody who loves music. I've sort of narrowed it down to that. I said, look, if you like music one way, shape, or the other, this is something that hopefully you'll have fun watching, because the vast majority of people here, whether they are musicians or not, will touch on the musical subject. So what has music meant to someone? Say you spoke to a businessman. So what, like, they would listen to music too. What sort of music do they listen to? What kind of thoughts process do they have when they listen to this genre versus the other genre, and so on and so forth? Have they ever played an instrument? Everybody goes to concerts. Everybody listens to the radio. So favorite genres, favorite artists, and stuff. So it's everybody who's passionate or interested in music. And then another thing. So this is probably just something. This actually me through this one. And so what I do when I don't do live streams, well, I am looking after my family. So I've got, I said before, I've got a wife and I've got 3 little boys. So I've got 6.5, nearly 5, and an 8 months old boy. So that is, needless to say, quite a handful. So I'm trying to look after them during the day. I'm also working for a local business trying to sell new homes. So again, I'm a home designer as well. And I'm at the same time at the moment as well, I'm trying to sort of finish off or move on along some of all those songs that I have written in the last couple of years, especially last year, which was a very unique chapter of my life because my wife got pregnant, and a lot of crazy shit happened last year. So that is a lot of sort of creative thoughts and a lot of songs evolved out of that period, and a lot of them are something that I'm trying to wrap up now and put on this channel. So, and it is also something. Another thing I do is, like, I constantly think about how I can come up with a framework that could help upcoming bands by doing this. So try to connect dots. So saying, so I spoke to this person that would probably work well with this person, and if we can do something like get more people in that are really hands-on in regards to promoting music, promoting bands and stuff, for them to come in and tell about experiences that sort of has moved them to the next level in the music industry. That is my main passion about this, is to make the music industry sort of a bit more of an attractive thing to pursue, rather than it being, you reach a certain age and you go like, oh, hang on, maybe you should start getting a day job. And a lot of people do, unfortunately. But if there was just one way of sort of you to focus on your passion, focus on your art, and still be able to make some money, that is what I'm thinking about pretty much all the time at the moment. Another funny one is how tall I am. I am 2 meters. I am 6'6". So yeah, I'm a tall Danish giant pretty much. Another one is, have you done the 10 best album challenge yet? No, I have not, and I don't think I can actually, because I don't think I can narrow down 10 albums. But at the same time, challenge is accepted, and I will be putting that on the Instagram page. So that is on my to-do list for the next couple of weeks. I will find my 10. It might be more than 10, but I'll find a lot of albums that have been really, really important to me, and I'll share them with you so you can see if you like them too. Doesn't really matter if you don't, but I'll tell you the ones that I like. Hey, I think I've only got, we can grab maybe one or two more. Do I listen to anything other than rock? Yeah, of course I do. I just like rock the most because, it's real. I have so many good memories connected to it, and I've always played rock music myself. I don't like playing, crappy shit, listen to R&B and stuff. That's something I just cannot do. But Genesis, Phil Collins, one of the first ones that comes to mind. It's been probably Phil Collins is one of the biggest non-rock drummers that I've been influenced by growing up. Don't know how many times we played along to all Genesis albums, Invisible Touch, We Can't Dance. They're probably the two that stands out the most. So they are huge, a huge band for me. Another one is Depeche Mode, especially the earlier Depeche Mode. I haven't listened to some of the ones they've done for the last 10, 15 years, but Songs of Faith and Devotion, Ultra is two of my all-time favorite albums. Guarantee you, Songs of Faith and Devotion will probably be on my top 10 list. So now you know. And another really interesting thing, probably a lot of people wouldn't know me or think that I'll be listening to this stuff, but I listen to a lot of electronic as well. When I sit at home and do work, if I have to sort of concentrate on doing something, I can't, for whatever reason, really listen to something that has vocals on it, because then I start listening to the vocals and then I get distracted. So I I need to listen to something that doesn't have any singing. And an album that really, really, really stands out for me here is Nigel Stanford's Solar Echoes. So I'll almost guarantee you have no idea who Nigel Stanford is, let alone Solar Echoes, his album. But if you Google that album and you put that on, you may or may not like it, but it certainly gives you a lot of, like, you can put your headphones on, turn the light off, and like you're in another world. It's sort of very dreamy music, which is excellent when you need some background stuff when you are sitting at home working. Got to do something else than sort of using your ears. And another guy, very, very similar to Nigel Stanford, is a Russian guy called Oleg Bionik. He does something very similar, has a shitload of music on YouTube. He's an online artist only. I would recommend you check him out as well. But don't worry, I will be letting you know about these artists later. So let me do one more. What is your dream? So my dream is to be able to support my family by making music and talking to people full time. So if there was any way of not having to do anything else, I would be sitting here in front of my computer and I would be creating music with awesome people around the world, and I'll be talking to fantastic guests a couple of times a week. And if I could make some money of that full time, that would be my dream. So now you know. The last thing I'm going to tell you here, because obviously, as I said before, a lot of people said, well, we've never seen you play drums yet. So I thought about that. You know what? Not, as I said before, I'm going to start putting up some videos of me playing drums. That is a promise. I'm going to start out by doing all the old videos I have. So all the old songs that I have recorded. But I have also, of course, got a couple of songs that I have played on. So I'll be playing one of them now. That is an old band, probably the biggest band I've been in, a band called Stomped. We spoke to Espen a couple of weeks ago, who was the lead singer. He looks very different now than he does back in the band, because he was like, I don't know, 12 or something. He wasn't 12, he was like 20 or something. But looks very, very different to what he does now. So that was a video that we did back in 2004. So I look a bit different too. Let us just say that. But that's it. Before I do that, I just wanted to just show you again here. This here again is the Patreon page. So it's literally patreon.com/Stephen Helhammer. You can go in there, you can check it out, you can see if that's anything you like. And there's a couple of different membership tiers ranging from $3 and up. And if it's anything that you think you might want to support, hey, what's $3 a month? That's a cup of coffee, not even. So if that's something you want to do, by all means, help yourself. If not, that's totally cool too. I'm not going to stop doing this, I promise you. So that's it for me tonight. I'm going to put this video on now. And please tune in tomorrow when I'll be talking to Stephen Hanley, my good friend, the two artists from Youngblood Studio in Rockingham. We'll be talking about a lot of really, really motivational stuff, because I want to get his opinions on how he quit the job that he hated doing to do something he's extremely passionate about. That's it. So I'm going to play a song now. Take it easy. Have an awesome night ahead and enjoy this old song by Stomped. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much for tuning in or listening along to the show. If you like the show, please don't forget to leave a 5-star review and subscribe to my social channels. It doesn't cost you anything, but it greatly helps me to build my networks and my chances of getting sponsors to keep this show running. If you want to take it to the next level, please head over to patreon.com/Stephen Helhammer and become a patron by joining the exclusive community there. You can start from as little as $3 per month. And for just a little extra, you get access to some fantastic features, outtakes, behind the scenes stuff, and much, much more. That's less than the cost of a cup of coffee per month. And that way you can help me build better content. I can devote more time to find awesome guests and just generally just keep everything flowing. If you want to be on the show or subscribe to my mailing list, send an email to steven@helhammer.com, and that is HELhammer.com. That way I can start sending you exclusive invites, random stuff, and messages that, who knows, you might enjoy. So that's it. Have a rocking day ahead, guys, and I will see you on the live stream or in your headphones very soon. Take it easy.